Before we begin, let me ask you something unusual. Close your eyes and think of a flower. Any flower. The first one that comes to mind. That's no accident. The flowers that touch us often carry a message. They symbolize something. Symbolism is a universal language, one that everybody understands. So maybe flowers know something we've forgotten. Now open your eyes. Today I want to speak to you about that forgotten language. Not a language for the mind, but for the soul. Hello everyone, I'm Michelle, also known as Stoic Herbalist, a Bach Flower practitioner and student of esoteric sciences. From the moment we're small, we're taught, don't cry, be strong, hold it in. But what we call weakness, fear, doubt, sadness, are often the soul's most sincere messages. And each emotion is a messenger. Each discomfort, a door. And flowers, well, they are the keys. Dr. Edward Bach knew this nearly a century ago. A doctor by profession, but truly he was a poet of the soul. He left his lab to listen to the flowers. We've been taught that emotions are problems to solve. Someone, cries too much, you have to calm them. Someone's afraid, you have to reassure them. Someone is angry, you have to control them. But what if emotions aren't errors? What if they're messengers, scouts, pieces of ourselves, calling us home? What I've discovered, what the Bach flowers have shown me, is that behind every emotion, there's a simple truth waiting to be honored. When I use Bach Flower Remedies in my work, I don't heal, I translate. I translate what the soul wants to say, what the body has hidden, and what the mouth didn't dare to speak. Let me show you. Mimulus for specific fears. Fear of speaking, fear of failure, fear of being a burden. But it doesn't erase fear, it whispers. You can be afraid and still go on. Large for those who say, I'm not good enough. Well, it doesn't make you more skilled. It reconnects you with who you were before you were told you were not good enough. Rock rose for panic. That moment when fear freezes everything. The flower is sacred fire. It reminds you of the hero inside, even when you feel like there's none left. Sweet chestnut for when there's nothing left, when you've hit rock bottom. It's not a flower of light, it's the flower of the dark night of the soul. But even there, something strong can be born again. Star of Bethlehem for old wounds, the ones you never digested. This flower doesn't do anything except hold you for a long time, silently. And in that silence, well, something meant. What if you didn't need to be fixed? What if healing isn't about transformation, but remembering? Remembering who you are. Remembering who you are when nothing stands in the way. Bach flowers don't impose, they don't erase pain, they create space. A silence where the soul can return to itself. Flowers don't change you, they awaken you. Bach flowers don't remove fear, they make it passable. They don't give you courage, they reveal yours. Each flower holds a soul quality. And what Dr. Bach discovered is that those qualities can resonate with human wounds, like, two strings vibrating in harmony. Yeah, but, they're just flowers and water. Yeah. And the violin is just wood and strings. It's not the material that heals. It's the vibration, the resonance. It's the invisible harmony between what we live and who we become. When a flower enters you, it's not the flower doing the work. It's you remembering. And sometimes that's enough to change how you see and to reopen your inner space. I could explain what Bach flowers do in 1 minute. They help soothe difficult emotions, fear, trauma, hate, even impatience. But that is just the surface. That's only the really very first layer. So, at first we meet them in crisis. For instance, when anxiety grips the chest, or when thoughts won't stop spiraling, or maybe when fear keeps us stuck. And in those moments, flowers act like balm. They don't mask, they release. We take mimulus for daily fears, white chestnut when the mind won't stop spinning. This is where the journey often begins, on the edge of chaos, with a flower in your hand. But soon something changes. We no longer just want relief. We want understanding. We want to stop repeating the same stories. And then the flowers become catalysts. They help us set boundaries. They help us listen to our inner voice. They help us believe in ourselves. We stop surviving and we start living differently. We make new decisions. We dare to say no. We find our center again. And sometimes over time, something more subtle calls us. A longing to remember, to reconnect with direction and essence. This is the soul level. The flowers become spiritual guides, not fixing but revealing, not healing but awakening. Bach flowers won't change who you are. They'll help you remember who you've always been. Just to give some examples, for instance, with Serato, at the emotional level, it helps those who struggle to make decisions. They choose, then doubt. Then they ask everyone else what to do, trusting others more than themselves. But at a deeper level, the issue is disconnection from their own intuition. Their inner voice is there, but they don't trust it. And even deeper, spiritually, Serato reveals an unconscious refusal to recognize and trust the higher self. Another example with Centauri. So on the surface, the emotional level, it helps those who can't say no. Kind, helpful, but self-forgetting. They say yes, and their heart is screaming no. And at the transformational level, they're often lost in serving others, or in seeking love, recognition, or maybe approval. And spiritually, Centauri reveals a broken connection with the soul's deep will. There is no more self-determination. Inner strength, the energy center of personal will, becomes scattered, unstable. The person is no longer able to focus their energy to manifest their life potential, and their soul mission remains dormant. At this level, Centauri is no longer just a flower about boundaries. It becomes a key to restoring the sovereignty of the self, to regain the ability to fully inhabit one's own destiny. Bach flowers act first where the pain is felt most clearly, in the emotion. So when someone gradually steps off their soul path by staying in a relationship that hurts them, clinging to a job that drains them, ignoring the quiet whisper of their heart, and so on and so forth. An inner conflict begins to emerge. A conflict between the true self and the mask it wears. This conflict first manifests as emotions: impatience, resentment, fear, sadness, anger, or guilt. And little by little, the body begins to carry what the soul can no longer express, because maintaining an emotional imbalance requires immense energy. And if nothing changes, the body becomes the messenger. Fatigue sets in, chronic pain appears, illness becomes the silent cry of what hasn't been heard. But the flowers are here as gentle allies. They don't suppress the emotion, they release it. And when the emotion finds its rightful place again, the body no longer needs to compensate for it. It can relax, breathe, heal. This is how Dr. Bach saw his remedy, not as physical treatments, no, but as vibrational keys to restore inner balance. When emotion no longer needs to scream, the body can finally rest. And in that rest, in that space that opens up, the power of self-healing awakens. Illness is not an enemy, said Dr. Bach, but a sacred signal. And the flowers are here so that the signal no longer needs to shout. I'm telling you this because I've lived it. I didn't become a Bach flower practitioner by chance. I needed them. I needed these flowers. There was a time when I felt afraid for no reason, when I couldn't understand what I was feeling, and when I felt like I was living beside myself. And one day, a flower found me. It didn't heal me, but it brought me back. And since then, that's what I do. I help others find what they didn't know they had lost. Bach Flower Remedies are here to accompany us, to help us navigate these straits with more ease and harmony. Know that we can work together to find the balance you're looking for. So I'm not inviting you to consume, nor to believe. I'm inviting you to listen to yourself. Listen to what trembles, what resists, what waits. And if one day you feel a flower calling you, don't pick it. Listen to it. It might have something to give back to you, something you had forgotten. If you recognize yourself in one of these portraits, or maybe you're curious to understand yourself better, know that I'd be delighted to support you in a one-on-one session. You find my contact in the description below. I love to help you find the flowers that resonate with your pot, your heart, and your soul. You can also join my course, Bloom into Balance. In this course, you'll learn how to manage your emotional triggers with Bach Flower Remedies. It's a journey toward a calmer, more serene version of yourself. One that no longer lives in fear, but in freedom. I really enjoyed making this one. See you next time.